Hello. Tamikia TTC here. I'm looking, I'm looking a little rough. I am actually, just leaving the ER. Yes, I know. Very scary. So, let me explain. So, I think I mentioned already in a previous video that I had some pinkish brown spotting a couple of days ago. I really didn't have anything since then. Today, I had made it a point to take it easy this weekend. I've pretty much been laid up all day Friday, all day yesterday. So, I'm kind of just sitting in the living room, doing my thing. And I felt like I was doing more than having a discharge. So I went to the bathroom. I've been wearing a pad every day since the spotting. So looked at the pad, there was some bleeding there, and I had to pee, so I was peeing. And while I was peeing, I dropped probably 3 to 4 very large clots. Now, of course, this freaked me out. But I maintain my cool because I do know that subchorionic hemorrhage is very common in IVF women. And that can be incredibly scary. It can look like a lot of blood, a lot of clotting, and the baby be fine. So, I was just, very cool, trying to stay calm. I just got myself together, got in the shower, pulled myself together, and then I took myself to the ER. I'm scared, of course, but, just trying to hold it together. So I am 6 weeks and 1 day today. So, my first ultrasound with my RE was not scheduled until Thursday, March 7th. So that's about 4 days from now. So, it's worrisome. So I went to the ER. Thank goodness the ER was not crowded at all. They took me back. Everybody was very nice. I'm sorry about the sun back here. I'll try to hold my hand up or something. Sorry about that. And I have no gasoline, so I'm trying to get home before I run out of gasoline. But yeah. So they did a pelvic ultrasound. Now, mind you, I'm still trying to keep it cool. They did a pelvic ultrasound, basically to take a look at my cervix to see if it was open or closed. And there was a rather large clot that she kind of had to move out of the way. She kind of pulled it out. And she said, that my cervix looked to be open. So I tried really hard to keep the panic from setting in. I really felt like I was kind of in a tailspin at this point, but still trying to keep it cool. We had not had an ultrasound or anything yet. Just because my cervix is open right now does not mean that my baby is not there. So, so then it was a wait for ultrasound, not a very long wait, because transport actually had come to get me to take me to ultrasound while they were doing the pelvic ultrasound. The pelvic exam, which was very uncomfortable, by the way. But I didn't have a lot of bleeding. It was just mostly just clots. And I just had a little bit of bleeding following the clots, but it was mostly just clots. I didn't have a whole lot of free flowing blood. At any rate, I went to ultrasound, and it's a teaching hospital, so she was training someone. So I wasn't trying to ask too many questions or be too inquisitive. And maybe I should have, so the person could have learned how to deal with a patient that was that way. But I just felt like if I could see the screen, I would at least know what I was looking for. So they did both, the transvaginal ultrasound and the one that's across your belly. And she did the belly one first, and I could see what I thought was the sac. I wasn't sure. I presumed it was a sac, and then I saw her label it as a sac. Now, I saw the sac, but I couldn't tell if there was something in it, right? I have no idea. So she zoomed in a little bit, and then I could see something was there, and I was like, okay, there's something in the sac. Okay, great. But still don't know if the something that was in the sac had a heartbeat or not. So she did the transvaginal, and it was a little harder. She had the screen angled a little different way. It was a little harder to see, but it was, you know, I could see the sac. I could definitely see something in the sac. And then as she zoomed in, I could see a little bit more in the sac. I could see her measuring what was inside of the sac. And then I saw her measuring heartbeat, and I kind of had like a flash of relief. But I still didn't know, you know, what the heart rate was. She really wasn't saying anything. She wasn't talking to me. I know they're not really supposed to. Again, she was training someone, so I'm just, you know, trying to do the best I can. So then she finishes, and then she says, well, I get to be the bearer of good news. You know, the baby's there and is placed properly in the uterus, with a nice strong heartbeat of 124. So I'm like, okay, yes. That's about all I got from her. She didn't say, you know, how the baby measured, as far as gestationally, but she just said it was good news. So I came back from ultrasound back to my room in the ER, and basically they were telling me that they were going to contact my RE, have a talk with him, see what he wants them to do. So, you know, waiting around. So then they come back in and say that they did get a chance to talk to him, that he had a chance to look at the ultrasound images, and that it looks really good to him. But the instructions from him was for them to take my estradiol, to take my progesterone, also for me to start taking my progesterone and oil shots twice a day. So I am, you know, to go home, take a progesterone and oil shot right away. It's 6 o'clock right now. I got to the ER about 12:30, so it's been about 5.5 hours. Well, I got to the ER like right before 12:30, maybe 12:15-ish. So I'm supposed to take a progesterone and oil, and wait a little later, take the progesterone and oil a second time, and then I'll be taking it twice a day from here. Still a question on whether I should be doing my estradiol. I think I should still be doing my estradiol, but you know, when you're bleeding, the instruction is usually nothing in the vagina, right? So I think they just really mean like, you know, toys, penises, things like that. You shouldn't be using tampons or diva cups or anything like that. So they just don't want anything going in the vagina right now. But I mean, I would have to stick my finger in there if I'm going to do the estradiol. So they weren't sure. I sent my RE a text. We'll see if he responds. I'm already overdue for my second dose of estradiol today. So, you know, we'll just have to see. But as of right now, things are good. I will go in to see the RE first thing tomorrow morning, to get everything followed up on. And I'm home now. To get everything followed up on, and you know, we'll take it from there. But basically his take on it was that everything looked really good, and that to reassure me that this is very common in first trimester. Nobody mentioned subchorionic hemorrhage or hematoma. I asked about it, and they just said no, it just looks like a bleed. I don't know, because they didn't have an OB on staff. Um, so they, I don't think that would come from someone other than, say, maybe an OB on staff. So I'm expecting to hear subchorionic hematoma from the RE tomorrow morning. We'll just see. But as of right now, it just looks like a bleed, and everything is great and fine with the baby. Baby's doing great. But mystery solved. There's only one in there. There isn't more than one. So that mystery is solved. I have no idea what my HCG looked like. I'm going to go in here and take a look at the patient portal and see if any of that information is in here. If it is, I'll come back in and let you know. If not, then I'll come back with another video at some point after this and let you guys know. One thing I will say is I forgot that I had food in the oven. I had put some beef short ribs in the oven. I totally forgot I had them in the oven when all this happened. So they've been in the oven on 350 for probably 6 hours now. So I'm sure they are not edible at all. They are probably good and charred. So, and my cats are probably going crazy because I did have a timer, and I'm sure the timer has been going off for the last 6 hours. So, oh, what fun, right? Oh, what fun. So this is what's going on right now. So far, everything's good. You know, I dropped the major clots before I left. I didn't drop any other clots since I left the house, except for the one that she told me she removed during my pelvic ultrasound. I may drop some more clots between now and tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Again, I don't have a whole lot of bleeding. I just have some bleeding following the clots, but the clots are like really big. So it's concerning. I am still concerned about my cervix being open. I'm going to talk to the RE about that tomorrow and see what the recommendation is about my cervix being open. You know, am I looking at a cerclage at this point or not? And see how that goes. But yeah. Other than that, I'm doing fine. I managed to get through this whole ordeal without shedding a single tear, even though I was like crazy scared. And right now, you know, no other instructions but to see him. I'm almost sure he's going to put me on some kind of like pelvic bed rest or whatever, but I was already laying down on basically a bed rest, so I'm not quite sure what else I could do aside from taking this extra progesterone. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna take it easy the rest of today. And as of right now, baby G is hanging on in there really tight. I have no idea where the bleeding is coming from. If it is a hematoma, whether it was a big one or a small one, it could just be possible that I had just regular normal bleeding and it just looks worse because I am also on the blood thinner. I have no clue. So I'm hoping the visit with the RE tomorrow will shed a lot more light on what's going on. But I got to have a sneak peek of my little gummy bears. So and I got to say, I didn't get to hear the heartbeat, but I did get to see the flicker, and there was a little bit of red blue around the area where the flicker was, which to me says what, blood flow, right? So so I guess that's good. And you know, was just happy to see that there was still a sac there, that the gummy bear was still in there, and still seemed to be unaffected and doing well with a nice strong heartbeat. So oh gosh, this is so scary. You know, you go through so much to get to this point, and then you know, you kind of want to cross the bridges when you get to them. And I've been trying really hard to just stay focused on positivity. I know that there are so many hurdles, so many hurdles. I keep saying so many hurdles between here and happy birthday. But and I know this is part of the problem of, you know, going through this journey, watching other women go through um their journeys, and just knowing too much. You know how much can go wrong, and it's hard to just not think the worst, you know. And I just try really hard to just, you know, just because you're bleeding doesn't mean it's over. Just because you're bleeding doesn't mean it's over. SCH is very, very common in IVF. I see it all the time. Women post something about SCH and how much bleeding they have, how big the clots are, how scary it is. And I know this in my head. I know this, but you know, you're just so worried and you're so scared. So, yeah. So that's where I am right now. I'm completely spent. I haven't had anything to eat since this morning. I didn't even realize that I was in the ER for like 5 hours. I thought I had only been there like maybe 2 hours. Um, and they were like, "No, honey, you've been here much longer than that." And I was just like, "Oh crap." So, but yeah, so I do have O negative blood. They did give me a Rogram. It wasn't a shot. They gave me the Rogram through my IV. I guess it's some new way to disseminate the Rogram. So they did give me that. They had a talk with OB. Not that someone from OB came to see me, but I guess they talked to someone in OB about what they should do. And so that person suggested that I get the Rogram shot. So I was given that. And I'll see my RE tomorrow morning, and we'll take it from there. So I don't know if I'm going to put this together, if it'll be a separate video. I'm going to close this video out just in case. But if not, then I'll see you in a few seconds. Otherwise, sticky baby dust to all those TTC, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. All right, bye.